Today we are going to learn about Fourier transforms. So I think I had explained in the previous lectures. I had said that Fourier series is basically a representation of a periodic function, right? But what if the function is non-periodic? Even then you can represent that function in terms of frequencies, right? If you have a time dependent function, you can represent it in terms of frequencies, and that is done using Fourier transform. So why do we need Fourier transform? We need Fourier transforms for two reasons. Okay, first one is uh, to represent non-periodic functions in terms of their respective frequencies. Or you can say modes, right? Harmonic modes. Okay. And second is to deal with continuous functions. With continuous set of frequencies. Okay, so you know that in Fourier series we always had sine pi x by L plus sine 2 pi x by L plus a3 sine 3 pi x 3 pi x by L and so on. So all these 1 pi x by L, 2 pi x by L, 3 pi x by L. So 1 pi by L, this represented your frequency, right? So if this is the frequency, these are all discrete frequencies. But if you have a function which is non-periodic, you will get something in terms of frequencies. You can represent it using Fourier transform, and then what you get is continuous set of frequencies. So let's see what we have here. So we knew that in Fourier series, we knew it was f of t was represented as n equal to minus infinity to infinity Cn e power I n pi t by L. Okay, where Cn was given by 1 by 2L integral from minus L to L f of t e power minus I n pi t by L and dt, right? So here, of course, in this function the period was 2L and the frequency was n into 1 by period, okay, which was basically n by 2L. Okay, so this is your frequency f. Alright, now in Fourier transform you deal with continuous frequencies. Deal with continuous frequencies. Of course, there is another kind of Fourier transform as well, which is called discrete Fourier transform. In that, you can convert a non-periodic function into a discrete set of frequencies or into separate frequencies as well. But the general Fourier transform, you have continuous frequencies. So, what is the Fourier transform? Right, let's write down the formula. So f, it's represented by capital F of omega, where omega is your frequency, or rather omega is given by 2 pi f. Okay, so f omega is nothing but 1 by root of 2 pi integration from minus infinity to infinity f of t e power minus I omega t dt. Okay, so here the integration is over dt, so that your function is in terms of, so your function f of t is now represented in terms of f of omega. Okay, so now this is a frequency dependent function. You can also get an inverse Fourier transform. So this is known as, this one is nothing but your Fourier transform, and you can also have inverse Fourier transform What is inverse Fourier transform? Inverse Fourier transform nothing but your f of t. So f of t is given by 1 by root of 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity f of omega e power plus I omega t dt. So this is your inverse Fourier transform. Okay, so in all of our lectures now we are going to use this notation, and this notation is also used in the book by Arfken and Weber. Okay, so you can refer to this book for this particular notation. Bose's book has a different notation. This prefactor here, right? This is going to be slightly different in the Bose book. So different books have different notations, but the point is that we will just stick to one notation so that we are not confused. Okay, ultimately all the notations mean the same thing. It's just that if you the multiplication of these prefactors should be equal to 1 by 2 pi. So sometimes in some books you will have the entire 1 by 2 pi in f of omega, and the f of t will not have any 1 by root over 2 pi. In some books they will be split over like it is done here, and in some other book it will be the opposite way. Okay, so that is all about the notation, but we will, in our lectures we will use this particular notation. Alright, so now we know what Fourier transform is, right? Now we can also, since we know f of omega is 1 by root of 2 pi from minus infinity to infinity f of t e power minus I omega t dt. So this e power I minus I omega t can be written in terms of cos and sine. So we have 1 by root over 2 pi minus infinity to infinity cos I omega t minus cos omega t cos omega t minus I sin omega t. Okay, so this is how you can write it in terms of, and then you multiply it with dt. Okay, so you multiply it with dt. Now let's see. Okay, so this is how we have written. Now if f of t is an even function, right, then you know that f of t cos omega t will also be an even function, right? Then f of t cos omega t will be even, and f of t sin omega t will be odd. And if this is the case, then integration from minus infinity, right, so minus infinity to infinity f of t sin omega t will be 0, right, because when you have an odd function and you integrate from minus L to plus L, the integration of that is going to be 0. Okay, but for this it will be 2 times. So we can write f of omega as 1 by root over 2 pi minus infinity to infinity f of t cos omega t dt minus 1 by root over 2 pi minus infinity to infinity f of t sin omega t dt, right? So this integration is going to be 0, and the other one is going to be 2 times the integration from 0 to infinity f of t cos omega t dt. This is because f of t we considered it as an even function. If it is an even function, then this would be the case. Okay, so when f of t is even, then f of omega can be simplified to this, right, which means your f of omega becomes two by pi, right? So this is 2 by pi from 0 to root of 2 by pi 0 to infinity f of t cos omega t dt. And this is nothing but your cosine Fourier transform or cosine transform. Okay, so this is called your cosine transform. Okay. When f of t is odd, right, then what happens? Then f of t cos omega t is going to be odd, and f of t sin omega t is going to be even, right? So in this case, you have f of omega is going to be 1 by root over 2 pi minus infinity to infinity f of t cos omega t minus I by root over 2 pi minus infinity to infinity f of t sin omega t dt. Okay, so this function, because f of t is odd, this entire function becomes odd, right? This is odd, and so this integral turns out to be 0, and so you are left with f of omega by minus I is nothing but 2 by 2 pi root over 2 pi minus infinity to infinity, 0 to infinity, because we have already multiplied 2. So 0 to infinity f of t sin omega t dt. Okay. Alright. So this part, right, we just took minus I to the other side, and this will get cancelled. So this is nothing but f of omega. This is nothing but your sine transform. So s of omega is equal to 2 by root over 2 by pi 0 to infinity f of t sin omega t dt. Okay, so this is nothing but your sine transform. Okay. Of course, if this is sine transform, you can also get the inverse of this sine transform. So inverse transform would be, so this is your inverse sine transform is root over 2 by pi 0 to infinity fs of omega sin omega t d omega. Okay, so this is going to be your inverse transform. Similarly, for cos also you can get an inverse transform, right, in the same way. So inverse cos or cosine transform would be fc of t is equal to 2 by pi root over 2 by pi from 0 to infinity fc of omega cos omega t d omega. Okay, because you want the function in terms of t, you will integrate over d omega. If you want the Fourier transform, the function will be in terms of frequency omega, so you will integrate over dt. Okay, that's the general rule. Alright, so now let's calculate Fourier transform of a few functions. Fourier transform of derivatives. Okay, so f of omega is 1 by root over 2 pi minus infinity to infinity f of x e power minus I omega x dx. Okay, so if we want Fourier transform of df of x by x, what we want is, we want to calculate Fourier transform of df of x by dx. So what is this, right? How do we calculate this? Okay, so let's see. So let's call it f, capital F1 of omega. So our function becomes df of x by dx, right, and e power minus I omega x dx. Okay, so this is an integration over two factors which are both functions of x. So what we can do is we can do integration by parts. Okay, so if we do integration by parts, let's call this function as du by dx and let's call this function as v. Okay, so the formula for integration by parts is v dot du by dx dot dx, right? If this is what you are integrating, then you will have v into u minus u dot dv by dx into x. Sorry. Into dx. Okay, so integration over dx. Alright, so this is the formula. So how will we proceed? So our u du by so our u is f of x, right? So du by dx is df of x by dx, and v is e power minus I omega x. So let's use this formula, which is for integration or by parts, and compute this particular integral. So we are going to have, right, this is root over 1 by 2 pi. So 1 by root over 1 by 2 pi. Okay, then we have v into u. So what is v? V is nothing but e power minus I omega x. So this is e power minus I omega x. And u is just f of x. So this will be just f of x. Okay. And then integration of u, which is f of x, into dv by dx. So what is dv by dx? So this is v, right? So dv by dx is minus I omega e power minus I omega x and then dx. Okay. Alright. And this goes from minus infinity to infinity. So this is nothing but 1 by root over 2 pi e power minus I omega x f of x from minus infinity to infinity minus integration from minus infinity to infinity f of x minus I omega e power minus I omega x dx. Okay. So now this term, right, this also has a 1 by root over 2 pi. Now this term is going to vanish because f of x must vanish at minus infinity and plus infinity for Fourier transform to exist. Okay, this is a condition. If it does not vanish at these high values at minus infinity to infinity, it means that f of x is not integrable. And if it is not integrable, then basically Fourier transform cannot exist. So f of x must vanish at minus infinity and plus infinity. So this term is going to be 0. So let's make this 0. And then this term, the second term is going to be 1 by root over 2 pi. So there is minus and minus I omega. So you will have plus I omega from minus infinity to infinity f of x e power minus I omega x dx. So now we already know what this is, right? This is nothing but your plus I omega into Fourier transform, right? So this is the formula. This is the formula for f of omega, right? So this is what we have written, plus I omega f of omega. So f1 of omega is nothing but plus I omega f of omega, right? So f1 of omega was, what is this f1 of omega? f1 of omega is nothing but Fourier transform of df of x by dx. Okay. Similarly, if you want to calculate f2 of omega, which is nothing but Fourier transform of d2 f of x by dx square, right? The second derivative, this will be plus I omega whole square into f of omega. Similarly, you can keep on calculating the integral and you will get fn of omega is nothing but plus I omega power n f of omega. Okay, so this is your formula for calculating your Fourier transform of integration of nth derivative, right? Okay, now let's do one more problem. And that problem is given f of t is e power minus a mod of t, right, with a greater than 0. You need to find f of omega. Okay, alright, so first let's write down the formula for f of omega. This is nothing but 1 by root over 2 pi minus infinity to infinity f of t e power minus I omega t dt. So this is your formula for f of omega. So instead of f of t, let's substitute our function for f of t. So what is f of t? f of t is nothing but e power minus a mod t. So now since f of t is e power minus a mod t, right, we need to find its value between minus infinity to infinity. So from minus infinity less than t less than 0. So when t is between minus infinity and 0, then f of t is nothing but e power minus a into minus t, because t is negative between minus infinity to 0. Okay. So this is nothing but e power at. And between 0 less than t less than infinity, when t is between 0 and infinity, then t is going to be positive. So we are just going to have e power minus a into positive of t. So this is e power minus at. Okay, so now let's plug this into our formula. So we are going to break our integration into two parts. This will be from minus infinity to 0, f of t is e power at, e power minus I omega t dt, and then plus 0 to infinity e power minus at, right, e power minus I omega t dt. So this is how we split our integral. So we are going to have, let's now compute this integral. So this is nothing but at minus a minus I omega into t. So the integration for this is going to be e power a minus I omega into t by a minus I omega, right, from minus infinity to 0 plus 1 by root of 2 pi e power minus a plus I omega into t by minus a plus I omega, okay, from 0 to infinity. So let's calculate this. Again, at minus infinity and plus infinity, the function should vanish, right? So this is going to be, so at minus infinity, this term is going to be really small. So this is 0. The exponential is going to be 0. And at 0, the exponential is going to be 1. So this will be 1 by a minus I omega minus 0. And here you will have at infinity the value of the exponential becomes 0 because it is e power minus some constant into infinity. So this is really small, so this is 0 minus of e power 0 is 1. So you have minus of minus 1 by a plus I omega. Okay. So this is nothing but 1 by root over 2 pi 1 by a minus I omega plus 1 by a plus I omega, right? So you can simplify this and you will get a plus I omega plus a minus I omega. So you will get 2a by a square plus omega square, which is nothing but 2 by pi root over 2 by pi a by a square plus omega square. Okay, so this is how you solve for Fourier transform. So now you see that this function, right, this is your f of omega. So this function is a function of omega alone, right, and this is a continuous function, right? There is no discrete frequency here. It is just one frequency. It's in terms of a frequency variable which is omega. Okay, so that is why Fourier transform is a continuous function of frequency. Find the exponential Fourier transform of the given f of x in the following. So A would be f of x is minus 1 from minus pi less than x less than 0, 1 from 0 less than x less than pi, and 0 when mod x is greater than pi. Okay, and B would be f of x is equal to cos x minus pi by 2 less than x less than pi, and 0 when mod x is greater than pi by 2. Okay, so these are your two problems.